out of here. So TSM is still going for that tree for themselves. In fact, I think the only change of ban to them is the
Shopify Rebellion's turn to ban.
The ban is pretty nice. I think that hero was like very annoying last game because whilst like the best thing I saw from Shopify in that game was at least while Arteezy was being focused down and like being chased around the map, Bristle was farming pretty well and he was kind of an issue for a little while. They're just removing that issue now.
Yeah. And already I'm seeing like one key component here. Now you've got most likely the mid primal beast. He's going to seek that fight, seek the engagement, and if you have Sable out on the same concept as hero, it's to cause couple supports. Like you're bringing the full team to make that space for Arteezy, rather than that previous game, which was again, quite a lost draft when you think about Shopify and how they normally play their game.
And it leaves them flex potential as well with the CK now being banned in the first phase, because that's just such a lane-defining carry right now that can survive through almost anything. So Shopify's opener looks pretty safe, and TSM's going to respond with the Shadow Demon.
Very nice counter to the Primal Beast, especially if you, I mean, they could lane it into it if they want to, but just of course throughout the game, having that disruption, saving that hero, putting the slows on as well. If they do lane it into Primal, then, because obviously being off lane, you can just stop him from getting on top of your hero and just make that distance.
And the skill that everyone forgets exists, Disseminate, amplifies the damage that somebody takes, very good against these tanky heroes. So.
Yeah.
Well, it's a great pickup for themselves then, because this Primal, I mean, there's not too much difference in the build that he does go for, so we know he's going to become that tanky boy. Some more bans coming out, Spec, Kunkka. What is TSM going to do with their one ban? What do they have to look towards setting up for themselves?
Probably something that combos well with Primal Beast is what they're thinking, or maybe like a lane matchup that where Shadow Demon might be a little too weak in the lane, because that can be one of his weaknesses. He can do lots of Shadow Poison damage, but if you're against some like Tusk plus Dawn dual lane, Shadow Demon can look pretty weak very quickly.
Yeah, maybe just a ban.
5 seconds left.
I don't think there's anything. I don't really think you want to be defending your Shadow Demon pick. It is just a support. It's rather like what cores are we thinking of, and let's protect that. I like the response to Primal Beast. I do think that Primal has looked like one of the strongest heroes in this tournament by far. Like the damage he does throughout the whole game. Even if you have like Shadow Demon and you hit your ult on him and you're not letting him just trample all over everything. I think the biggest thing I like about Primal is his ability to kind of get out and then re-engage with his Q.
The thing that, when we talk about Shopify, it's the game where they are backs against the wall, could get eliminated. Primal Beast, they played it once, 28 days ago. Again, 4 months ago. Another time 7 months ago. They started, of course, in Lima Major, where they lost twice with it, when it was kind of his big entry.
Yeah, I was going to ask,
really
like, what is the history for Shopify and Primal?
Bad. There we go.
Oh, okay. And where has he not mostly been played for this team? It's obviously different, right? Primal, the hero himself, is changing, but always mid?
Yeah, so I'm quickly scrolling through multiple drafts here, but it's been a little bit mid. Yeah, basically mid every time I feel if I quickly glance through, but the fact that I can count on like 2 hands how many times they've Primal throughout the entire year, whilst other teams are rushing towards every time. Again, it's a hero that obviously they have played us immensely in their pubs, right? Yeah. But competitively, it's not been at the top of the Shopify kind of playbook.
Well, talking about not being at the top competitively, Magnus, we are going to be seeing him. We saw him yesterday. It went mid for LGD. Where do we see it going for TSM?
It's probably I think it's kind of a cool hero in the meta right now because it's guaranteed to farm with the skills that you have. You don't have to worry about some Midas thing to have super high net worth. So that means you can spend your gold on something like a Blink that allows you to make action happen and also accelerate a carry or other hero on your team if you want to. All item independent, so that's a cool thing the Mag brings right now.
10 seconds.
And if it is in mid, then the Primal with the Trample, you naturally want to play inside the lane.
5 seconds left.
Amelia as well. Shockwave into Skewer, get him under tower. Now you're not actually pressuring, you're actually killing him on the Mag into Primal matchup if this is the mid versus mid.
I don't know, I'm leaning towards Shopify right now in general. I just think when I see Magnus, the whole thing of when Teams won TI was that you played around the shot and Skewer, that was like what made Magnus so powerful, but then after that was sort of nerfed. Now he is weaker and you aren't going to be able to just outplay a Primal whose cooldowns are so low that he can just keep going in and out. Like, you have to be able to kill this guy. And now you're on a Phoenix on top healing with no real anti-heal on TSM so far. On top of that, being able to use the egg to counteract this RP is going to be really nice and powerful as well.
What if they pair it with like a Bloodseeker or something, then you get damage from Skewer with the Rupture, it's a good empower target, kills
that would
egg
be
a little
hilarious,
bit.
with a crowd as well.
I mean, there's nothing funnier than somebody getting ruptured and you...
That's exactly it.
No one's picking that hero though. Luna makes a lot more sense. Just higher tempo, solid lane. Ooh, and a Snapfire. But they want to kill the egg very easily, and they'll do that.
Probably position 4, most likely. Ari likes to play it, and we've seen it fall out of meta because the mid laners don't want to pick it up. Of course, with the talent changes, preventing kind of how quickly you got to your big explosive timings. In support, you still have Cookie, your Fire, your Blast, like you're still potent in how you play out the game.
5
I guess
seconds
it's nice
left.
to take some magic damage, especially when like you see Luna, you think TB time, yay, we're gonna counter that one. I think it's hard to pick illusion heroes like easily into this Shadow Demon, but it's still, you want a good carry matchup here. You're gonna have the aid of your Phoenix. I just want to make sure they can fight into whenever TSM decide to go, and I think they can so far. They just have like they have loads of spells on Shopify. They can do ganking right now, they can take early fights, early skirmishes. Now I just want to see them scale.
The thing I do like about TSM's draft right now, though, is that their team fight just looks a little superior due to the fact that the egg is not a big worry if Snapfire can get in there.
Yeah.
And then other than that, they have great team fight between Eclipse and the BKB Piercing RP. So it's going to be hard for Primal Beast to channel his ulti confidently without it being interrupted.
Yep. And also having damage outside of getting close enough to the egg, because whilst you jump one hero, if you just throw an egg down, sometimes you have to retreat, but now you have this Kiss to throw.
It's Radiant's band now.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think both teams are kind of similar in that nature. You've got a Primal plus a Sky, very quick. On the other side, you've got an RP into Kisses. Both of these are core plus support combos will be having like the same kind of ideology throughout the game. Find a hero, get the kill, get number advantage, try and sweep through.
And the center looks good for up-tempo. On the Shopify side, they can disengage better from Mortimer's Kisses, for example. That'll be less of a threat. But I don't have as much confidence against it against a ranged carry versus a melee carry, but he can definitely abuse his lane between Skywrath and himself, and he's going to be the obvious setup if Primal Beast isn't the other one for Sky ulti. So if they do catch heroes and Shadow Demon is not quite there, that's going to be easy kills for the Shopify side.
Radiant's turn to bed.
As well. Like this SD pick, when you think of course RTs, it's like Terrorblade, it's Naga, even the Void, Luna. Of course they pick Luna themselves, but you know, it's like potentially final game. We're not going to allow you to have your Terrorblade and be in a super comfortable position.
Turn to bed.
Does TSM play Invoker? Or is it banned? No, it's in. I want to see something that can follow Primal around the map. Like my biggest problem right now is I don't think Magnus is going to want to respond in TPs. I think Shadow Demon's a weak support. So when Shopify start to move around the map and go on people, I want there to be a hero on TSM that can match that pace or just stop it.
5 seconds
left. Be
left.
like a Tide Hunter style hero, because then you put the Mag mid, you put the Tide off lane, so then Tide can soak up the initiations. A little bit of respect towards Brood actually. We did say that here too much. We saw LG player, Kasani, when I mentioned his initial entry to TSM, it was the Zoo, the toxic heroes, and Brood was one of them. Yeah, imagine getting brooded out of TI. Oh,
That wouldn't feel good.
that's sour. It's like getting
10
Hufflepuff,
seconds.
same kind of vein.
No one wants that cheese, no one wants that toxicity
5
at all. The
seconds
last
left.
pick for Shopify Rebellion here. Gonna be Arteezy's here, gonna be the carry.
Maybe Sven is one of the heroes he's picked that isn't banned, and it's either that or Naga, or he's playing somebody new this game.
Are you afraid picking up a Sven of being in that melee range for the Shadow Demon, for the Magnus?
It's explosive, and they have so much frontline that an explosive hero will always be able to find entry to the game, because Primal and Centaur, or even the Phoenix Egg, will kind of cover your initiation.
Radiant pick.
It's dead, huh?
Well, you can empower yourself if you transform into Magnus. We saw that earlier in the tournament, just a huge amount of damage increase. Plus Skewer, so between Skewer and Waveform, you're very mobile. So it works.
Okay, but how about just the hero in general, T? Morph hasn't had a phenomenal show, and here it is. Yeah, you mentioned Kasane, how much he loves the zoo. The bird got banned out, so he does still end up getting the Lycan for himself. Lycan, definitely one that we are not going to be seeing very often, one that has fallen out of favor. So maybe let's touch more on that one, T.
Yeah, I'm going to wait about 5 seconds for Moon to leave the booth so he can hear. This is just like...
Oh, he's there. You can tell him.
You're playing against Shopify. You know, you got a last pick, Moon. You can hear me. You're picking up some Lycan. But, you know, Shopify, they're very slow now. Like, when you look at their hero, they don't really pressure the towers. They farm backwards. Only Primal can really make their aggressive moves. So why not pick up a Lycan, start setting that tempo, pair it with a Luna, TSM. They want to get out of this game. They want to punch their ticket into to fight against Now Zetas today, and this is a draft that can potentially do it.
I think both off lanes are going to own.
Yeah.
And that's just on the mids to kind of like make their impact.
Well, I want to hear more from you guys. I think you guys have so much to say, but someone who's going to know a little bit more about this draft is Moon Meander, and he's joined by Tsunami.
That's right, I'm standing by with Moon Meander, who has seemed to deliver quite the final blow. That last Lycan pick, you liked it seemed.
Man, it's been like the whole year. We last picked Lycan like the whole year, and then I can't believe we got it in TI. It's crazy.
These people are doing their homework, but you are doing some different things. This is the first time your team's picking Magnus. Where'd that come from?
It comes from TSM!
That's all I need to hear then. Let's get ready for game number 2.
Thank you so much, Neil and Moon. I heard him from over there. Like, we're a little ways away. Thompson! I can't even do it. My voice is cracked.
We're a little ways away.
Holy moly! A big pick to end out the draft. We've got the Lycan. Do you like it? Is it the right pick?
To end out the draft. We've got the Lycan.
This is his thing. We got a couple of people who have been the Lycan, you know.
He's the Lycan. This is his thing. We got a couple of people who have been the Lycan
at one point as well. Even Old Man Fear, he was the Lycan. Lycan mid. But today,
even Old Man Fear, he was the Lycan.
This guy,
Lycan mid.
But today, 71% win rate, I think.
He's the Lycan.
All-time 38 matches, 71% win rate. That's just gross.
71% win rate, I think. Yeah. All-time
That's one of
38
his
matches,
second
71%
most
win rate.
played
That's
hero after
just
Beastmaster.
Yeah.
And he's over 70% win
His
rate.
second
That's
most
pretty
played
good.
hero after Beastmaster. And he's over 70% win rate. That's pretty good.
See if they can make it happen yet again here in this one. They already got down their ward.
Doing a little bit of a dance there in the mid lane. They already got down their ward.
And they're going to immediately take it away.
Heading over in that direction. They're going to immediately take it away.
Shopify off to a little bit of a better start. Things go better than last
Shopify off to a little bit of a better
I mean, that was a
things go better than last game.
Just gotta say it
I mean, that was a demoralizing
Yeah, it
loss.
looked like they got
Just
kind of
gotta
squeezed
say
at the
how
map
it
there
is.
for a
That was
while.
rough
I definitely had my
one to watch.
concerns. Not gonna
Yeah,
lie,
they
like
got
TSM
kind of
turns
squeezed at the
the
map
pacing
there
they
for
were
a while.
taking,
I definitely had my
they
concerns.
didn't take
Not gonna
any
lie, like
super
2
risky
like
maneuvers, and
pacing
they never
were
got
taking,
punished.
but they
Shopify
didn't
never
take
hit that
any like
humongous combo
super
that they
risky
were
maneuvers,
threatening.
and they never got
And
punished.
they just like kind of like
Shopify
slow
never hit
rolled
that
it to a
humongous
nice
combo
finish
that they
there
were
from
threatening,
TSM.
and they just like kind of like slow rolled it to a nice
Steps up,
finish there
taking
from
a couple
TSM.
hits, was threatening to steal away one of those
Steps up, taking
runes
a couple
as
hits. Threatening
maybe
to
in
steal
some more
away one
trouble
of
there.
those
Saberlight's
runes
still
as
trying to chase back Whitemon.
maybe in some more trouble
Still
there.
a bounty room
Saberlight's
that's
still
over
trying
in
to
the
chase
river.
back
That
Whitemon.
one, I don't know if it's
Still a
going to be
bounty
claimed
room. It's
quickly or
over in the
not.
river. That one, no, if it's going to be
We'll have it
claimed
in the
quickly
river
or
for a
not.
bit.
Just a little forbidden fruit there. Just gonna hang
We'll
out.
have
That
it in the
never
river
happens.
for a bit.
There's just a bounty there.
That never happens.
So that's cool.
Somebody gets a bottle early, get a free extra charge. Why not?
Somebody gets a bottle early, get a free extra charge. Why not?
Slacks in his marine call at the end. Then steps on up.
Slacks.
Takes away Bryle. Be careful about the pullbacks
away
with the skewer
Bryle.
there.
Need to be
It's the big thing
careful
to
about
watch.
the pullbacks with
Yeah,
the
kind of
skewer
interesting
there.
too. You're like trying to
Big thing
trample
to
eventually in
watch.
the lane as well.
Yeah, kind of interesting too. You're like
It's
trying
gonna
to
be
trample
interesting to see
eventually
this
in
one
the
though,
lane
because
as
the hero
well.
that we have not seen almost at all
It's going to
throughout
be
the
interesting to see
entire
this one
course
though,
of the
because the
road to
hero that we
TI
have not seen almost
has
at
been
all
Snapfire.
throughout
Not a
the
lot
entire
of
course of the road to TI.
as the panel was
has
talking
been
about, an answer to
Snapfire.
the
Not a
Phoenix.
lot of games,
Yeah,
but
it's just such a
as
good
the panel was
counter.
talking
All
about,
it
an
takes is that
answer to the
single
Phoenix.
point there.
Yeah, it's just such a good
And you can
counter.
handle that
All
ag
it takes is that
earlier
single
levels.
point there to the little shredder.
Down bottom,
You can handle that
takes a
ag at
lot of
earlier
damage,
levels.
but does manage to get the team
Down
out.
bottom, the crit takes
Ends
a
up
lot of
going
damage. Does
away
manage to
from
get
that
the
one.
team out.
Not
Ends up
wanting to
going
run into too much more
away
issues.
from
Already
that
back to
one.
the tower as
Not wanting
RTC very low on HP
already back
switching
to the
over
tower as
and getting Tango
very low
regen
on
back.
HP switching over.
Yeah, more playing, Ellie having some pretty high armor as well, so
More
not the
playing,
most
Ellie
intimidated
having
by the
some
concept
pretty
of
high
pressure,
armor as
plus,
well,
you know,
so
attacks
not
being
the
relied
most
upon here versus
intimidated
the
by
fire
the
spirits.
pressure, plus attacks
Attacks
being relied upon here versus the fire
defensive
spirits.
support, as you can see down bottom here. Whitemon on the Shadow Demon.
Well, a defensive support stepping down bottom here. Whitemon on the Shadow Demon. Stepped a little bit too close. The concussive shot, the Lucian Beam tries to get him away, but no. Saberlight,
Nice
the draw
maneuver
first
forward
blood,
there from
taking
them.
down
Level
Whitemon.
2 there on the crit as well.
Nice
so.
maneuver forward there from them. That's gonna hit
Aggressive
level 2
options
there on the
open
crit
up,
as well.
but despite dying here, I do think the Shadow Demon is a super solid pick. It's not bad to watch in the first phases through this group stage. He's one of these heroes that just denies the opportunity later to pick certain heroes. They were like anyone who really struggles versus like his dispels. Anyone who really struggles versus like his dispels. But the main thing in this game is versus that Primal Beast. Not only because you have this like low
But the
cooldown
main thing
save
in this
versus
game
low
is versus
cooldown
that Primal
ultimate.
Beast. Not only
The other thing is that you use the ultimate on top of it, you can't actually onslaught out. It is a dispellable
if you use the ultimate on top of him, he can't actually onslaught out. It is a dispellable.
For those of you that are going to watch for that later, you'll see Primalbeast just try and run away.
For those of you that are going to watch for that later, you'll see Primalbeast just try and run away, and then
Ari going for the double kill.
Absolutely no way.
First blood, but both couriers going in.
Double kill. First blood, but both couriers going in.
They had no tangos, no anything up in this top lane.
I mean, Mortlake's pretty broken in the lane, but he has his limits, you know?
Right.
I mean, Mortlake's pretty broken in the lane, but he has his limits, you know?
That gets the Lotus.
Oh, man, that's
some region. They need that one.
Gets the Lotus.
That's fair.
They need that one there. Get a couple more hits onto Abed as he tramples through.
He's getting way down there. Gotta get down to, oh, he's chilling at 3 strength. He's getting way down there. Gotta get down to, oh, he's chilling at 3 strength. There we go.
How much value you get out of it, absolutely. Yeah, they still have a little bit of time before those couriers start making their way back out.
They still have a little bit of time before those couriers start making their way back out.
Time and maybe can even go for another pick if they wanted to.
I mean, if he gets a cookie play 2 onto RTZ, right? You know?
Oh yeah,
it's pretty low.
If he gets a cookie play 2 onto RTZ, right? You know?
Oh yeah,
Pretty low. You just cookie one little creep, test the reactions there, perhaps.
Absolutely.
And you just cookie one little creep, test the reactions there, perhaps.
Watch for it. No early kills. The
Regardless,
big hero that's
for it.
definitely struggling so far is going to be the Luna, 12 and 1.
Hero that's
Though
definitely
Sane
struggling
is
so far is going to be the Luna, 12 and 1.
A pretty good start
And
himself with
Sane
the 9 to 9.
obviously gotten a pretty good start himself with the 9 to 9.
Why also started with no bonus armor? Why also started with no bonus armor? Versus a Lycan and a Snapper. Yeah, so far so good. Despite losing their couriers, it is kind of crazy that they're still looking this okay, to be honest.
Despite losing their couriers,
I will say, at various points when this team, Shopify have looked their best.
I will say, at various
points
points when this team, Shopify have looked their best, I want to harken back to the days of Fly on Phoenix, you know? This is his bread and butter as well.
Side to go, Sonic and Cookie.
Already, side to go, Kasane will get sent out. A little bit of safety.
Is the distance.
Wolves get sent out.
Regen is now on its way as couriers.
The regen is now on its way as couriers believe are respawning and heading on out.
That bottom lane there. Spun on a ward as he's just going to steal a bounty room. But this is a bit of a classic thing that Penalties players will do. They'll often just rotate into the lane. Like they come to this bounty room, but they see the opportunity. They'll utilize that early when they have the onslaught to charge forward. He noticed that they're probably aware of it. Plus he's this way pushing forward, but way too risky unless you look at guaranteed kills.
Plus he's this way pushing it. Way too risky unless you look at guaranteed kills.
Make the difference. Bryle comes on in and steals away.
But level 7 can make the difference. Bryle comes on in and steals away.
Still just sitting steady, trying to outfarm when they can here.
Just sitting steady, trying to outfarm when they can here. The deny is definitely racking up though.
Get off to a better start and maybe be more active in this game than we saw in the last one.
Get off to a better start and maybe be more active in this game than we saw in the last one. Obviously you have to wait for a long time.
Play it a little bit faster tempo with the rest of the team.
But we had a fantastic Mortling game yesterday versus that Magnus. I mean, you can really see the ability to take advantage of popping that hero as well.
You can really see the ability to take advantage of popping that hero as well.
Skewers, of course, using that shockwave, getting yourself empowered, taking the most important factor there.
Using that shockwave, getting yourself empowered, probably being the most important factor there.
Stomp, Saberlight, not quite going to connect onto it.
For a stomp,
Bing Bong and heads off.
Not quite going to connect onto it.
7-minute mark's coming around.
Bing Bong and heads
stacking
off.
Up where he can.
As the 7-minute mark's coming around, Fly stacking up where he can. Likely you can see some wisdom around.
Another stomp connects.
Again, Saberlight can't do anything. Another stomp connects, but again, Saberlight can't do anything.
Very static side lanes right now. No twin gate maneuvers.
Yeah, very static side lanes right now.
Hanging out on your own sides.
Twin gate maneuvers.
See if that stays the same for the
Hanging out on your own sides.
I do see a line drawn there.
The same for the wisdom.
Maybe
I do see a line drawn there.
Fly saying, hey, what do you think of it? Can you go to Wisdom Rune?
Fly saying, hey,
that's what he's saying. He wants to smoke with ulti, go Wisdom Rune.
So that's what he's saying. He wants to smoke with ulti, go Wisdom Rune.
Playing it close. That was very close to
Ari there, playing it close. That was very close.
They're just going to trade him off one apiece. Although, maybe if that rotation,
just going to trade him off.
They're heading for the Wisdom Rune.
Yeah, I mean, they scan, right? So then they say, okay, support's definitely there. Do we catch him on the way back, or do we go for
Kasane? So then they say, okay, support's definitely there. Do we catch him on the way back, or do we go for Kasane?
So this might punish Kasane.
Ari TP's mid, he's going to catch the wave. So this might punish Kasane.
Tries to go for the
Doesn't have
side
anywhere to
step.
go. This should be an easy one. running. Tries to go for the sidestep. Control is there. A couple
Pushes him away. Never mind, Kasane. Waveform through. They managed to finally get that kill. Ryle
Waveform through. They managed to finally get that kill.
To punish this one, though, it looks like. Have another shockwave. Thinks about
Punish
throwing
this
it
one,
out.
though, it looks like. Have another shockwave. Thinks about throwing it
Not
out.
quite easy, but a kill nonetheless.
Nice play.
Not quite easy, but a kill nonetheless. 2-0 now in favor of Shopify, so solid rotation, good punish on the support.
2-0 now in favor of
Shopify, so solid rotation, good punish on the support. Heading over to that Wisdom Rune.
Not a whole lot separating all of the cores in this one. Centaur is top of the mark.
Not a whole lot separating all of the cores in this one. Centaur is top of the mark, but
instead more likely for a couple of the big level
instead more likely for a couple of
Crit's going to be able to
big
play
level
pretty
6s
aggressively around the map with Abed if he
Crit's going
wants
to be able to play pretty aggressively around the map with Abed if he wants to, comboing the Mystic Player and the whole.
Motto will have to be careful with his positioning in this game.
Motto will have to be careful with the positioning
as we take a look. And Saberlight, full Vanguard completed, trying to finish off
and
Space Moons next.
Full Vanguard completed, trying to finish off.
There was a movement over where again they're trying to catch and kill, but
immediately
vanished.
Trying to catch and kill, but immediately vanished.
Also going to make it back
in
to time to stack
defensive play.
Why not?
Yeah, perfect.
Also going to make it back in time to stack Ancients. Why not?
Yeah, perfect. Infinite stacking. Certainly why I like the position 4 when you can do it, because it's really easy stacking the side lane. Certainly why I like the position 4 when you can do it, because it's really easy stacking the side lane.
And I mean, again, Ryle's out in the jungle. He's going to make this move now to connect on the Saberlight.
Ryle's out in the jungle. He's going to make this move now to connect on the Saberlight.
So much space mid for RA and Fly to
soak up this experience for themselves, trying to get those level 6s about to have it. This could definitely be a quick kill if they find an opening. About to have it. This could definitely be a quick kill if they find an opening.
I mean, they certainly have the more aggressive bid on Shopify you expect too, right? Like, to see it being Ryle the more aggressive bid on Shopify you expect too, right? Like, to see it being Ryle the one who's moving around, you kind of expecting this Primal Beast to be the one hunting for these kills with local that ultimate stacks set up here in the jungle, so taking advantage of that,
like you mentioned previously, there were some stacks set up here in the jungle, so taking advantage of that,
sure,
alternative
course
to
can kind of prime them up, but Primal Beast can take fast one at it, and also who's going to be the most valuable at this point in the game. Where can we actually take that net worth and apply some pressure at this point in the game? Speaking of which, also, like, Ari, level 6 right now, on the Snapfire. One of the absolute best do-something supports, and, well, they're going to get a kill down bottom here with his ulti.
do-something supports, and, well, they're going to get a kill down bottom here with his ulti. I'll do it myself. Gets out of trouble, manages to break the ulti.
Not the synergy they were looking for there.
Not quite.
Yeah, definitely a big bomb moment.
Not the synergy they were looking for there. Not quite. Yeah, definitely a big bomb moment.
Big ulti's used. It's more time for Shopify to start to come online.
Yeah, it's a tough hero though to kill, but
more time for Shopify to start to come online.
When you have that stampede though to kill, but the ulti, right? It's definitely not guaranteed when you have that stampede. Certainly disappointment though, because it is supposed to be kind of free when you get 6 on snap. Certainly disappointed though, because it is supposed to be kind of free when you get 6 on snap.
Well, this is a bit of a scary moment. Ari does not actually have any points in the Little Shredder yet, so will not be able to stop any Supernova plays that are coming out. Abed still thinking about play here. Does he want to go for an Onslaught? Not going to do it.
It's a great voice.
I get why want to try and catch it. It's a great voice line. I get why they're spamming it.
Pressure on the bottom. They're going to claim this tower instead.
Pressure on the bottom. They're going to claim this tower instead.
Drive it back, but knowing there's no kisses, knowing the DRP was used and no kill, even without a stampede, they're very comfortable just going for it. Sonic trying to apply pressure as well as Capital up top, but RTG's waving at him. They're going to high five a little bit.
Pressure as well as Capital up top, but RTG's
looking hunting, he's going to go for it here, maybe no.
With
Abed showing up still very, very low. The maybe no.
With Abed showing up still very
Kasane is gone. Oh, Shopify, they brought in numbers.
Kasane is gone. Oh, Shopify, they brought in numbers.
Great defensive mag there too from Fly. It's a really
finish.
secure thing. It gives you the hesitation.
Great
Like, I
defensive
can't
mag there too from Fly.
There's no way I can fully go for this kill right now.
hesitation like I can't commit.
There's no way I can fully go for this kill right now. Right back to farming like he was. He's going to miss out on this pressure in that top tower.
Right back to farming like he was.
Shopify.
Going to miss out.
Full pressure down bottom. They take the tower. They defend their top tower right now.
Full pressure down bottom. They take the tower. They defend their top tower
right now. Keep this pressure moving up top. Where of course they're trying to extract a ton of net worth from this top pressure map. They can't lose control. Like you think about how Gaming Gladiators often play when they're on dire sides. They love getting forward control. Like you think about how Gaming Gladiators often play when they're on dire sides. They love getting forward. He's not far from there right now. Have to defend with the kisses.
Now they're even pressuring. Like he's not far from there right now. Have to defend with the kisses.
Now he's not far, but they will turn it. Saberlight stops it. He's not right out. Starting to bring White on down. He's
Light stun with 2 Sunray out. Starting to bring Weapon down. He's going to be the one left behind. So Shopify starting to get a little bit more aggressive after
I mean, this Lycan last pick, I look at it and I'm just thinking, like, oh, this is great because a lot of these counters you see, like, you can't get the Lycan early because there's some pretty significant counters to the way you want to escape the fight. You can't get the Lycan early because there's some pretty significant counters to the way you want to escape the fight. But kind of the same thing's happening now with Stampede, right? They're both countered by similar ideas here.
Kind of the same thing's happening now with Stampede, right? They're both countered by similar ideas here. And it's Stampede is a big save in this one. As long as you don't get RP,
maybe a disruption, but
you're kind of just out of there.
has some elements to it which are
I mean, maybe a disruption, but you know, disruption has some elements to it which are saving you
and
anyway.
They don't really have that answer at all for the Morph lane as it gets later and later.
They don't really have that answer at all for the Morph lane as it gets later and later.
And now with the Blink Dagger coming down towards Saberlight, like, I would love to see Vision up in that top.
Now with the Blink Dagger coming down towards
Saberlight,
I would
TSM
love
are
to
trying
see
to get in
Vision
there,
up
trying to
in top
stack with their supports.
If they
having
could
this
spot
like
when TSM are trying to get in there, trying to stack with their supports,
having
this like over the train movement of both the Phoenix and the Primal Beast,
and they just want all of this
like
gold in
run
here
all
for
over
their
this part of the
Magnus,
map.
for their Luna, right? Like this is where they want to live.
All of this gold in here for their Magnus, for their Luna, right? Like this is where they want to live.
Well, there is not going to be a Magnus at this fight easily.
What can they do?
They are setting up for this.
Shopify. Now they're smoking with Mag behind.
They're reading this move.
Yeah, they're ready for this. Ari, jump forward.
Behind.
Wants to do what he can. Pulverize is going to be there. Already caught.
Jump forward.
Have
Do what he can. Pulverize is going to be there. Already
caught on the courier.
Don't quite have any items yet for the Magnus.
Back out
Delivered
for
on the
Sonic.
courier.
Poppy ulti the run forward. Now the
Shopify
Stampede
back
trying to
out
hunt
for
this
Sonic.
Lycan and
Poppy
see if they
ulti the
can
run
run
forward. Now the
They
Stampede
just got
trying
the
to
Blink
hunt
Dagger
this Lycan
delivered
and see if
for
they
the
can
Mag.
run.
If they're stuck
They
together,
just got the
Shopify
Blink Dagger
careful.
delivered
Sonic,
for the
run
Mag. If
forward,
they're
the
stuck
jump is
together,
there, they
Shopify they have to be careful.
Pulls it back in
They
for
run
the
forward.
finish.
The jump is there and they
So they decide to
pulls it back
give
in for the
up
finish.
Sonic, get that kill on
So they
Shopify, but
decide
they
to
lose the
give
Morph.
up on Kasane, get
drags
that
them all
kill on
back.
Shopify, but they
At
lose
least
the
being the Punch on
Morph.
RTZ is huge
Kind
there.
of drags
Still
them all
saves their
back.
space that they
So at
need
least
for
being
the heroes to farm up
is
to
huge
become
there.
these giant
Still
cores
saves their
hoping for.
space that they need for
But
the heroes
Shopify
to
are making
farm
it
up
no
to
secret.
become
They
these
want to
giant
pressure
cores
this
they're
mid
hoping
tower.
for.
They want to take over
Shopify
these
making it
agents.
no
If they
secret
lose
they
this
want
part
to
of the map,
pressure this
the
mid
game
tower.
gets way
They want
harder
to
for
take over
TSM.
these
There's no
agents.
doubt.
If they lose this part of the map, the game gets way harder for TSM. There's no
Ulti
doubt.
out from
Pull one
SD,
back.
looking for a soft,
Get
waits
up.
for it, hits on the
Ulti out
immediately
from
toss
SD,
turn.
looking for a
The
soft,
Supernova
waits
is
for it,
already
hits on
down,
the
starting to
immediate
do a chunk of
chunk.
damage. Disruption and
Supernova is
too
already
much on
down,
the
starting to do a
Tomato.
good
He is
chunk
going to
of
fall.
damage.
Can they get out with the
And
rest of
too
them though?
much on
Fly
the
trying to
Tomato.
escape.
He's
Wolves
gonna
after him.
fall.
Obbin starting to
Can they
fall
get out
lower
with
and
the
lower.
rest of them though? Fly trying to escape. Wolves after him. Obbin starting to fall lower and lower.
They just can't get anything else out of him.
RTZ comes to join in the fight, has no
They
Morpheus
just can't
though.
get anything else
Not
out
able
of
to
them.
contribute a whole lot, but hey, at least he's
Has
there.
no morph yet though. So not able to contribute a whole lot, but hey, at least he's there.
Listen, anything after the end,
They never got the tower. Yeah, drew him ran off, kind of forced the fight
They
in
never got the tower.
behind.
Yeah.
Drew him right off, kind of forced the fight in behind.
From Shopify Rebellion.
It's gonna force the clip out here from Shopify Rebellion.
Type of game already. And you can
Very
see that fight handily
type of
won by
game already.
TSM, even though you lose Tomato.
That fight
The rest
handily
of the
won
squad
by
is
TSM, even though
starting
you
to
lose
stack up that net
Tomato.
worth.
The rest
And
of the
Abed,
squad
I mean,
is
you look
starting
at his
to
mark,
stack
he
up
just
that
has
net
not
worth.
been able to
And
get
Abed,
the type of kills that you would
look at his
expect
mark,
out of a
he just
Primal.
has not been able to
It's very
get
frustrating
the
for
type
sure.
of
Like,
kills that you would
there's just these
expect out
little
of a
tiny
Primal.
stunts that come out
It's
there.
very
Like, obviously
frustrating
the
for
big
sure.
save for the
Like,
disruption,
there's
but
just these
even
little
just
tiny
having a kiss
stunts that
fly
come out
through,
there,
a
like
skewer that
obviously
comes
the big
by.
save
He had to wait so
disruption,
long
but
for
even
actually
having a
using the
kiss
pulverize.
fly
He
through, a
grabbed
skewer
it.
that comes by. He had to wait
Tabata,
so
when he was
long
at like
for actually
100
using the
HP.
pulverize.
He just like lived there for half a second and the Tomato dies. Like, okay,
Tabata
well,
when he
you
was
know,
at like
secured the
100
kill,
HP.
but
He just like
it's
lived
not
for
that
half a
impact
second
that
and
you're
12
hoping
dies.
for.
Okay, well, you know,
So
secured the
clearly
kill,
he's kind of
but
just hoping for the
it's not
peak.
that impact that you're hoping
Still
for.
a very
So
BKB
clearly
dependent
he's
hero
kind
on
of
the
hoping
Primal
for the
Beast,
peak.
despite
Right?
some of the nerfs
Still
to the
a
item.
very BKB
Kinda has
dependent
no
hero
other
on the
recourse.
Primal Beast,
And
despite
it's
some of the
really
nerfs
the
to the
pain
item.
of you know, the
Kinda has no
first
other
pick
recourse.
overall
And it's
Primal
really the
Beast.
pain of
You stop
you know,
all
the
of his
first pick
movement with Shadow
overall
Demon,
Primal
you
Beast.
cause so many
You
issues.
stop all of his movement with Shadow
RP
Demon,
eventually coming
caused so
out.
many
That was a whole
issues.
fight taken without RP. The
With
TSM
RP
were able to
eventually
win.
coming out. That was a whole fight
It
taken
has an
without
arcane
RP
rune
that
too here, so
TSM were able
definitely
to
just
win.
begging for a smoke right now.
It has an arcane rune too here, so definitely begging for a smoke right now.
Sane also is the ultimate plus his summon here. It's got a Warpine Raider.
Sane also is the ultimate
Terrifying
plus his summon
creature.
here. It's got a
The
Warpine
seed
Raider.
shot, you love to see it.
Terrifying creature.
With the
Called
seed
the,
shot,
Willow,
you love
or
to
Not Willow. Hoodwink.
Called the Willow, not Willow.
Just thinking of the Warpied
Okay,
hitters.
that's fair, yeah. They're equally as powerful currently in the patch, I'd say.
That's fair, yeah. They're equally as powerful currently in the patch, I'd say.
TSM hunting mid, waiting for anybody to show up. Nobody is there.
Hunting
Mono
mid,
starts to hit the
waiting for
buildings.
anybody to show up. Nobody is there.
Similar sight to what we saw in last game for TSM. Tomato
Similar sight to what we saw in last game for TSM. Tomato off to a hot start.
Just the one jet has some more stacks to go back to. Already up to 3 points from Lucent Beam.
the one jet,
1 point to Eclipse. So it's not this Luna who just feels horrendous when the fight actually breaks out, right?
So it's not this Luna who just feels horrendous when the fight actually breaks out, right?
You do have the answer already done with the Centaur.
But that said,
Crimson Guard
you do have the answer already done with the Centaur. With a full Crimson Guard completed, that is such a good item against this.
Finds crit, misses on one. Shockwave is there, slow.
Ryle.
Stampede tries to get away.
Misses on one. Shockwave is there, slow. Stampede tries to get away.
Silence me, but that's just cookie for the stun. That hurts.
You silence me, but that's good cookie for the stun. That hurts. Thought you had a play there, but not quite.
Used for just the Skywrath Mage.
Still, a lot used for just the
Abed heads on over, picks up the Wisdom Rune, trying to re-salvage his game.
Abed heads on over, picks up the Wisdom Rune, trying to re-salvage his
level
game.
12. This could be a decent window for them to fight.
Along with hitting level 12, this could be a decent window for them to fight.
No Stampede for 50 though. They might want to hang onto that a
little
bit. Also,
no
still no
Stampede
Morphin
for 50 though.
he is holding the point. So yeah, they want to go for
still
play.
no Morphin RTD, but he is holding the point. So yeah, they want to go for play. They're going.
I think you approach the tower with no Stampede.
Couldn't quite get him.
I think you approach the tower with no Stampede.
Maybe just play this a little bit casual.
You're not going to have it for all
combos can be bad for Shopify.
Maybe just play this a little bit casual.
RP already! 101! Fly trying to save it. Crit is already gone, but they have the Supernova down. Already used a little Shredder trying to kill it off. The egg isn't going to pop. They managed to kill it in time. TSM hit on 2.
They managed to kill it in time. TSM hit on 2.
Supports, I guess, but that definitely hurts. They weren't expecting it. I think the fact that TSM were still so grouped up just in order
definitely hurts. They weren't expecting it. I think the fact that TSM were still so grouped up just in order for that.
Out there, great skewer back there as well. Brown having a fantastic series so far.
Out there, great skewer back there as well. Brown having a fantastic series.
Used there from Abed. He's like, probably does not want to come fight at this top tower.
Used there from Abed. He's like,
Saberlight
caught here,
skewered back.
Oh, that is not what they want to see.
Saberlight caught here, skewered back.
Oh, that is not what they want to see. Saberlight gets the Stampede, but there is disruption.
Necessary.
They do anything get the blink away. That was super necessary, but that also opens up
right up towards it. Kasane already getting started here with the Orbit Destruction.
Yeah, they're going to back right up towards it. Kasane already gets started here with the Orbit Destruction.
Again, another reason why I like it is we don't see it too often. There's some heroes that counter helm with the Overlord. There's some heroes that counter helm with the Overlord. Counter pickable. So this is why even the hero's not that popular right now. It's also important to ban against TSM.
This is why even the hero's not that popular right now. It's also important to ban against TSM in this situation. It could just get a last and a gotcha.
I'm seeing the writing on the wall. Shopify are going to need to make some big plays here. And this could be it.
Shopify are going to need to make some big plays here.
And this could be disrupted, but they have enough to keep him alive. Saves. It's so good, but Miles still dropping down the pole. It's not quite enough damage to kill him off without Saberlight. He's in too far.
It's not quite enough damage to kill him off without Saberlight.
Now the disruption switching into it.
Managed to get away. Now the disruption switching into it.
Stun is there, but Saberlight's starting to drop lower and lower Manta. Back away, gets the kill, Abed in, Cookie away. Now the disruption, again, Whitemon doing so much on the Shadow Demon. They've already killed the Centaur.
On the Shadow Demon. They've already killed the Centaur.
Can they find even more? With the blink forward there.
Force out the BKB on Abed with the blink forward there.
Huge saves there. Just constantly enabling their cores to play a little bit more aggressive than you're probably expecting on Shopify.
To play a little bit more aggressive than you're probably expecting on Shopify.
Need out of them. And that's the perfect lineup to do it because there's so much of this like single target going in there trying to blow up one hero.
Single target going in there trying to blow up one hero. You know, you've got
even in that instance where they caught somebody so out of position on Ryle,
even in that instance where they caught somebody so out of position on Ryle, they weren't able to play cleanup, and Kasane now just taking away a double stack of ancients.
Starting to get towards desperate territory. I mean, it's still only 1,000 gold lead, but I mean, look at this.
It's still only 1,000 gold lead, but I mean, look at this going to potential for TSM. It's going to shred
Black Dragons.
Moving
their way through here very confidently towards the Tormentor.
moving their way through
What happens here?
Surely no one dies on this one.
Careful, Ari. Run, get out
Surely
of
no one
there.
dies on this one.
Careful, Ari. Run, get out of
Now,
there.
Demonic Cleanse available for the Shadow
Gonna get it. So now Demonic Cleanse.
And what are they getting on the map right now with Shopify? They're taking some farm near the Ancients. They are.
And what are they getting on the map right now with Shopify? They're taking some farm near the Ancients. They are
Very unlikely they would still be there, so kind of risky to go for.
very unlikely they would still be there.
Get the
So
tier 1 tower
risky
top.
to go for.
falling
get the
down
tier one
bottom.
tower
This
top.
tier 2, but they gotta know what's coming.
Down bottom.
The first tier 2 of the game.
Gotta know what's coming.
Done
It's the first tier 2
Shadow
of the
Demon
game.
is Ryle.
First staff done. Shadow
Saber
Demon
Light
Ryle.
mid, but go for anything there.
Why are you catching a wave down bottom here? Getting some farm. They have really spread it across
Why
this
even
map.
catching a wave down bottom here?
He's gonna
Getting
put
some
fly
They've
almost into
really
the
spread it
center
across
right
this
now.
map.
Okay.
He's gonna put fly almost into the Yule Scepter right now.
Dude,
Okay.
get more control.
I mean, you compare the saves that we're seeing from Ari and Whitemon, you think about how they play
When you
these
compare the
fights here from
saves that
flying
we're
crit, it
seeing
just
from
feels so
Ari
much
and
more
Whitemon, you
difficult.
think about how
With
they
this
play
blink
these
dagger
fights
on
here
crit,
from
who does he actually
flying crit.
target
It
with
feels
an
so much more
seal and with
difficult.
ultimate?
With his blink
Because
dagger
he's
on
constantly
crit,
have to
who does
worry
he
about
actually
some sort of
target with an
movement
seal?
from a cookie, which could just like break someone out of his little combo, or a disruption
from a
save.
cookie.
No, I
Could
mean,
just
yeah,
like
you're
break
gonna
someone
need
out
to
of his
find
little
the
combo,
Shadow.
or a disruption
Like,
save.
they have
No,
to
I
get
mean,
him.
yeah, you're gonna need to find the Shadow
Whitemon's
Demon.
free to do too much.
They have to get him. Whitemon's free to do too
takes
much.
another tower.
Motto
Him in that little
takes
interview
another
talking
tower.
about how he sees the future
Heard
playing
him
out.
in that little
Very
interview
lovely
talking
voice.
about how he sees the future
Old man
playing out.
impersonation.
Very lovely voice.
They did 3
Old
TIs!
man
Looks
impersonation.
good, he did nice.
He definitely did. We'll see if
TIs.
continue moving
That was
on
good.
here.
He did nice.
He definitely did. We'll see if continue moving on here. Third one.
He's really trying to force them back right now.
Ari staying so far back as well.
Really trying to force them back right now.
Shadow Demon playing even here.
far back
A bit of
as well.
vintage gameplay right now.
Shadow Demon
nobody's
playing
showing up.
even here.
Nobody's
A little
here.
bit
Just
of
gotta
vintage
mix them up so you
gameplay
don't
right
even know
now.
who the real one
Nobody's
is.
showing up. Nope, nobody's here.
It's
You
just
just gotta
going to
mix them up so you don't even know who the real one is.
The
Wait,
building
Auto,
is
down bottom,
just going to
connection.
fall.
Nice.
You leave Lou
Got the
alone.
strength
Okay.
form off.
Bottom,
Get out of trouble.
connection.
Are they going to be able to get
strength
anybody to
form
help
off.
him? Try to
Guaranteed to get
TP
out
out,
of
but
trouble.
no, the skewer
Are they
was
gonna be able
there.
to get anybody to help him?
Stampede now
Try to
trying
TP
to
out, but
escape.
no, the skewer was
Arteezy,
there.
he's in no man's
Stampede
land.
now trying
The
to
hunt, the
escape.
kisses, everything
Arteezy,
drops
he's
onto
in no
his
man's
head.
land. The hunt, the kisses,
Saving the
everything
building with
drops
his body,
onto
but
his head.
giving up another death, it hurts.
Saving the buildings
TSM
with his body,
everywhere.
but
And I
giving up
love what
another
Ari's
death,
done.
it hurts. TSM
They're
everywhere.
going for it.
And I love what
They're
Ari's
saying
done.
that we
He's
have
just
grouped
taking
up,
the
we are
pipe.
stronger than you right
Yeah,
now.
they're
Sure, maybe the
going
net
for
worth
it.
isn't the highest.
They're
You
saying
guys
that we
have
have
been
grouped up,
farming.
we are
We've seen you
stronger
all
than you
over
right
them,
now.
but
Sure,
our
maybe the
strength
net
right now
worth
as a
isn't the highest.
unit,
You guys have
just
been
can't
farming.
match it
Yeah, we've
right
seen
now.
you
If
all
we
over the
keep
map, but our
bolstering that with a
strength right
couple
now as a
auras,
unit, you just can't match it right
slightly,
now.
you know,
If we keep
a
bolstering
used
that with a
hero
couple
here in
auras,
Snapfire. Like one of the benefits of
with
this
a
hero is
slightly,
that she
you know,
can pick up
a
these
used
greaves,
hero
these
here in
pipes do good.
Snapfire. Like one of the benefits of this hero is that she
Catch
can pick up these
another.
greaves, these pipes
You
do
talk
good
about
about.
auras, there's only one aura right now
another.
on the Shopify
When you talk
Rebellion
about
team, and
auras,
it's
there's
on
only
Saber
one
Light, the
aura
Crimson
right
Guard.
now on
He's
the
getting chased
Shopify
down.
Rebellion team,
Does
and it's
not
on
have
Saber
that
Light
many
with the
places
Crimson
to go.
Guard.
Was
He's
hoping
getting
for a
chased
blink
down.
away, but
Does not
the
have
chase
that
is
many
there.
places to
Ryle
go. Was
has him.
hoping for a blink
Control
away, but
and the
the chase
slow
is
and
there.
steady
Ryle
death.
has him.
A lot of HP on the Centaur, but eventually he too will die.
A lot of HP on the Centaur, but eventually he too will die.
You know? You're going
How
to
are you
chase
feeling
around the
right now
map,
on
you're trying to
Shopify?
farm as much as possible, you're watching these new
You're going
items
to
pop
chase
up
around
with
the
each
map, you're
hero.
trying to farm as much as possible, you're watching these new items pop up with each hero.
They are peaking right now on
There's an
TSM.
AC down on this
It's got to feel like
They are peaking right now on TSM.
There's so much that is going to be running down these
inevitability.
lanes.
There's so
And just
much
trying
that
to
is going
end
to be
this
running
game.
down these lanes.
Shopify
just
is
trying
trying
to
to prep
end
for it,
this
and
game.
I feel like they need to catch somebody unawares.
Shopify,
They're going to have a Scotty soon on the
I feel
fourth
like they
lane.
need to catch somebody
And
unawares.
TSM,
They're going to have a Scotty
they're not
soon on
looking
the
to stop
fourth lane.
anytime soon. Still ways away from the heart on Abed.
They're not looking to stop anytime soon. They're still
I
ways
think he
away
is
from
the
the
man of
heart
those plans.
on Abed.
I mean, he's looking at that blink
I
right now
think he
because
is
they
the
just have
man
to
of
find a
those
way to
plans.
create a fight that's favorable for
He's
them
looking
right
at
now.
that blink right
Part of
now
that
because
is
they just have
definitely
to find a way to
Scotty,
create a fight that's
certainly a huge
favorable
element
for
of
them
that.
right now.
They also have level 12 on the
which is
Phoenix, which is a
certainly
big
a
deal
huge
on
element
the
of that.
Shard. So
They also have level 12 on the
trying to
Phoenix,
get
which
the
is a
best
big
egg possible. They're trying to catch them before they get a roach, right? This might be the best moment they're going to get.
Can they trying to catch them before they get a roach, right? This might be the best moment they're going to get.
Jump forward, Ryle finds one, BKB out, doesn't have an angle. Okay, AB wearing low, Ovid thinking about going, not wanting to commit yet.
Bad jump, do they chase?
Takes down that ward, catches immediately, Ari still has Stampede ready for Zion, pumps it, catches immediately, Ari throwing out the kill, what damage do they have? The egg is already there, Smile is so good, but now the man to the wall, Stun is there, can they get it in time? They do! Barely managing to bring it home!
TSM, they're tired of playing second fiddle.
TSM, they're tired of playing a second fiddle.
They're too strong. V4s are there. They race up the high ground.
They're too strong.
Into the face immediately.
And just like that, trying to end this game. They want to move on in this tournament.
Trying to end this game. They want to move on in this tournament. Continue on a date with Downs in their future. If they can finish this one off, TSM on the verge as the tier 4 towers are going to fall.
Shopify are going to be eliminated. TSM,
Nothing
they are
left
moving
as
on.
Shopify are going to be eliminated. TSM, they are moving on.
All the thanks between the teams. Regional rivals, of course.
All the
Good
thanks
luck
between
further.
the teams.
Thanks
Regional
back and
rivals,
forth,
of
but
course. Good
total
luck for
heartbreak, of course, here for many fans and for Shopify. But TSM just complete elation here, and thinking to themselves, what some would consider an upset, but at the same time, like regional rivals in NA have proven that nothing is secured in these matchups.
Absolutely. I mean, no matter what, there's going to be 2 teams from NA going home today. It was meant to happen, considering there's 3 of them playing off against each other. But TSM moving on, looking incredibly solid. Again, a flawless game coming out from Tomato. The love being spread from the crowd. Because, of course, there are eliminations abound today. But will be TSM that move on and have that date against Nouns a little bit later on.
I mean, you just saw that absolute, like, wonderful team play as well, of course, right? I mean, how many times do we go back to the supports in this game? Ari and Whitemon constantly covering. They made it just so comfortable to be up front as these core players. But 0 deaths on Bryle, insane game on the Earth Spirit game 1, and then towards the Magnus 2 in game 2.
Impressive showing indeed as we head on back now to the panel. Let them talk about all the actions and implications from that solid series.
It was a beautiful display from TSM. Unfortunately, Shopify Rebellion going to be our first team eliminated in the playoffs. This NA bloodbath, it didn't go to the 3 games sheet, but it was still an amazing game too. I mean, TSM, they were just applying the pressure. They were keeping it on. It took one solid team fight from them, and they just went straight for the H and straight for the win.
I mean, before we get into the TSM praise, of which they deserve very much.
Okay, all
I
right.
thought the style of the game looked good for Shopify. Like, it was really nicely played from them. They had the 6-minute smoke from mid on the Primal to top, killed that Lycan to try and stop some of his pressure. Lycan was trying to take the tier 1 up top again. They bring in the TP Primal, they kill him again. I'm like thinking that they were making such nice moves, as well as like bringing heroes to the right things, like 12 minutes in, there's a rune, let's bring the Centaur in, fight with him, get some more kills. Like they were constantly staving off the moves that TSM wanted to make, and then it all just kind of fell apart.
Yeah, I absolutely adore the TSM support during the game. Ari and Whitemon, the way that they played their heroes, you got disruption saves, cookie saves, for like all the highlights you're going to see in these clips, it's like, you hit somebody, you get saved from top. In the mid fights earlier, there's, again, just clutch saves. You're basically baiting Shopify in, and for that it's like Primal, he's either in the middle of the fight, or he's running away. Centaur, he blinks in, and the disengage, of course, without Stampede, not so good, but yeah, the support drift from TSM absolutely picked apart Shopify in this second and final game.
Yeah, Brown popping off there for himself. The TSM boys taking some photos and autographs with the audience there. Okay. Oh, it's Will! I was like, who is that man?
There's a fisherman next to him too.
Oh, no, I don't know that person. No one knows that person. That's an ancient relic standing beside him. It is tough to see Shopify go, but you're right. It does feel like a story we've had so many times, though, of them having this great lane, this great early start for themselves. TSM, though, able to hit their timings perfectly perched. They knew when they were able to apply this pressure and this Luna coming online and being able to have those active fights, have an active role, and have a pressure on the objectives.
Yeah, they really did hit their timings, and there's another cool thing about Luna now, the new shard, it reduces the damage you take, so it helps you so much. Normally Luna's like one of those ranged, kind of squishy, vulnerable heroes. When they get on top of you, it's a bad time. But now with the shard, you're like, I'm in trouble. You press the button, you take 25% less damage, and you do a huge amount of reflection. Well, not reflection, you just start attacking through blade thingies. It's great against these primal beasts, these centaurs, they get on top of you, so it makes the timing even safer, because your chances of getting that pick off that leads them back into the game, it just reduces it.
We're really excited for the TSM boys. They're going to be continuing on and going up against Nouns, but an Empyrean has a Moon Meander joining him, so let's hear what he has to say.
Yes, I do now, thank you. Talking of excited, you looked excited before the game, you looked excited just now. That was a high point.
Yep, we're here playing the NADPC for the last time.
Okay. So, when you were going into those games, both those drafts, everyone was saying backstage that I think they won the draft. You guys were very confident. You clearly have a very good idea of how you want to play, and you execute it well. How much of that is scrims, and how much of that is just sparks of genius?
It's mostly the genius from my teammates. I couldn't really do it without like having such awesome players in the roles like Val and Magnus, conventional picks, Lycanthrope Master, and Luna Tomato.
So before the game, Bulba said that this was a battle of new ideas between your team and his. Those new ideas, how much are you taking from other teams, and how much of this is kind of original thought?
There was some new ideas in this draft, like Magnus and stuff. I think he went back way too back to Morphling. I think that's like the Hero was a Dream League thing with the Aghanim's, but here, this patch, I don't think you want to play Morphling in Elimination.
Okay, well there it is. Thank you so much, Moonmeander. Congratulations to you and the lads. Back to Nat and the panel.
Oh, Moonmeander, the humble man that he is. I thought he was doing something else.
Yeah,
I was like, as I'm saying the word humble, he was very humble in his interview, giving a lot of credit to his players, having faith in them, being able to draft those heroes that he could, but also quite a bit of humor. The NADPC coming back once again, and they're going on to continue that NADPC later today.
I love Moonmeander, bro. He's so funny. He's great. I've always loved like him moving into this coach role and the way he's talked about it and all this progression. He's like, yeah, I used to be like, so when you're playing, you're so emotional, you really get into it, but like being able to be a coach, step back and kind of understand how to communicate more effectively with my players and really like learn that type of stuff is incredible. I mean, he's really shown that improvement and growth, and I'm super happy for the team.
Yeah, and he definitely deserves credit for it, because this team, at the start of their formation, it was kind of like, man, tons of young players. They were skilled, but there were a lot of doubts. Their first couple of performances went kind of poorly. Consistently, they were disappointing. I didn't expect much out of them this TI, but they're definitely overperforming now. They're looking together, and you got to credit Moonmeander for that he's there to help form them, instruct them, and keep things together.
And he's one of the rare coaches that actually shows a lot of emotion. In the draft, before draft, he's like making these big moves, being animated. Nowadays, a lot of coaching is very stoic. It's like, this is good, this is bad, do this. Xiao Wei, for example, Moonmeander is probably the polar opposite than like the animacy he has during the booth.
Yeah, I mean, we saw those fingers go up there, and I do believe, where there is a winner, there is a loser. So I do believe that we have our losers interview. It is going to be Period, joined by Crit.
Yeah, thanks, Nat. I am here with Crit, of course. Commiserations, dude. You guys must be very disappointed. But both of those games seemed to be going okay for you early on, but then it kind of got away from you. Did it feel that way?
I think the first game for sure. I think the second game, I feel like we didn't really get a grasp on the game. They kind of just got to do what they wanted to, and they just had timing that we couldn't fight. So I think second game was hard, but first game was definitely ours. So yeah.
Disappointing. However, disappointing this is, there must have been some highlights for you this year. What was your highlight as a team this year, or even just as an individual?
I think Lima was good for us. That was our first major this year. We had it wasn't perfect, but we had a good atmosphere, and we did pretty well there. And I think the Dream League that we just played as well was pretty good for us. In some ways, maybe the Dream League put us in a bad spot for this TI, but I think it's been a hard year for us. I think the team's not really functioning as we wanted it to, and sometimes that's just what happens. And then we're in the lower bracket, and we didn't do well at all in group stage either. So we're put ourselves in a spot where this can happen, So.
Well, that's very tough, but I know you guys have a lot of fans around the world. Is there anything you'd like to say to them for their support throughout the year?
Yeah, I mean, huge thanks to all of you, especially the people here in the arena as well. It's always us that's cheered for the loudest, and we really appreciate that. So it never falters, so we love you guys a lot.
Thank you, Crit, and better luck next time. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Period. It's always tough to do those exit interviews, to see a team eliminated and see those emotions on their faces, but we do have to move on. As unfortunate as that is, massive props to TSM. They're going to have their time to reset, go back to the drawing board, knowing they're going up against Nouns, and while we're waiting for that series later in the day, we get to talk about Gaming Gladiators up against EG. And this is our second series for today. One team no one expected to be in the lower bracket in the first round. Everyone expected them to be sitting in that upper bracket. It is Gaming Gladiators coming up against EG, a team that people probably never put their eyes on before. Maybe the org, but the players not so much. So, what can we expect out of EG? What are you looking forward to with their players?
Well, I think EG is a fun team to watch because they've their players individually have looked amazing over the last year and a half. They had a great run last year. They reformed this year. They had a great first half of the year, but the second half of the year has just been disappointment with the caliber of players that they have. So how are they going to do in this series? It's hard to know. They did better than their past 6 months in the group stage, but they could really show up and look like one of the best teams in the tournament, but they could also disappoint, so it's hard to say.
Yeah, I think in general, South America, they've had quite a decent year throughout, and every time we get to this point, it's like, this is the year. Maybe they get further, they can do it. And unfortunately, the region has kind of bombed a little bit, and to enter the lower bracket, going against Gaming, of course, 3-time major winner, like this is going to be a tough battle, but it's hard. It's like, do you want Gaming, who've done so well? Do you want South America to stay in the tournament? It's going to be quite a difficult one for the fans, I feel.
Do you want to actually maybe a star player in Euros?
Bro, I love EG. I'm a huge fan.
Oh, okay.
No, I love him. I love Matthew. I think he's an amazing leader. I think when you see regions like Southeast Asia and South America, like leadership is something that they've always struggled and lacked, and they comment on that, right? And it's like you have Jabs kind of stepping up in C. Here you have Matthew, who's really good and has prided himself on his communication and ability to bring the ideas together of his team and figure out their strats. I think it's interesting when you hear about this team and how they function and the problems they've had in the past. For example, they were, I believe, when they brought in the new players, things didn't quite fit because you had players that were quite greedy or wanted to play, like Whisper quite enjoys farming, right? But they had to really recenter their targets. They're like, okay, sometimes you can lead as a core, however, we want Pakaz to be our win condition, and they really had to kind of bring that idea back to that and how their playstyle matched it. So they have very much evolved as a team in terms of like internal communication and their actual gameplay. I think they're super fun. I like the hero pools they bring out. They're fresh. You got like that bounty hunter Matthew. I mean, my man makes games very fun when he's playing those Invis heroes. For me, I just love this team.
I love that you love this team. I also enjoy all the information you gave. So I have a treat for you, a little special reward sheet.
Ain't no way.
And for all the other EG fans out there, we have a video on that we can see more about this team, more of their journey as well.
Quería hacer unos cambios. Vacas, Panda y yo teníamos como que queríamos jugar con Whisper, y como nos comunicamos con Whisper y él también quería jugar con nosotros, y prácticamente fue como que después Whisper quería jugar con Chris y todo se fue formando poco a poco, y después nos comunicamos con la empresa de Evil Geniuses y ahí fue donde se hizo todo el trato y el deal.
EG's new lineup hit the ground running, clinching 5th in Lima and 4th in Berlin, but from there, Bali became EG's stumbling block. Not only did they face an unanticipated early bow out during the group stage, but the community's reaction added salt to the wound.
En realidad, en el equipo hay personas a las cuales le afecta, y nada, como que lo conversamos, y creo que lo que hacemos para que no se afecten estas cosas es hacer una reunión en el equipo y poder comprender en qué estamos fallando para no volver a cometer esos errores.
Despite the stumble at season's end, EG had already secured a strong foothold, finishing 5th in the DBC. Teams often express a certain wariness playing against EG thanks to their unpredictable and unconventional style.
Sí, en realidad es un poco gracioso porque nosotros somos como que muy agresivos en el juego y hacemos como que jugadas que a veces otro equipo espera que no hagamos, y como que nos quedaríamos jugadas randoms, pero para nosotros es como que algo que es normal, que estamos acostumbrados a hacer. Y es muy gracioso porque equipos como, no lo sé, Gladiators, es como que su capitán siempre me escribe cuando jugamos una práctica o algo, o un torneo, y nos dice, nunca sabemos cómo jugar contra ustedes, siempre hacen cosas que no nos esperamos, y nosotros como que nos reímos y a la vez nos agrada que reconozcan ese punto que tenemos a favor.
Do you feel you know EG a little bit better now, Purge?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they do have elements of that unpredictable playstyle.